June 1st. We are 1 month away, as I record this, from Canada Day. So in honor of that special day for us Canadians, I'll be running a Canadian wrestling promotion. It'll be my first attempt to run a wrestling show for public consumption. And I have 1 month to produce a video suitable for release on July 1st. So in preparation, I've been watching some Canadian football, some CFL, featuring the Ottawa and Montreal teams. So I'm full of national pride and I'm ready to get started. Fire Pro Wrestling World, as it says there in the top right. This game, I believe, was released in 2017, and I got it off of Steam. So over on the left, you can see highlighted in red, Fire Promoter. So we're doing promoter mode. Create data. And although we are starting a new promotion, we're not selecting that item because that would give you the default 6 characters that come with the base game. So we're doing start a custom promotion because I have a ready-made Canada roster here full of only Canadian wrestlers. There's some other lists I've made here from some names there you probably recognize, possibly other promotions I might run in the future, but for now, Canada. So easy difficulty. It'll be less challenging, but I don't need to prove that I'm the greatest fire promoter of all time. I just want to be able to assemble my roster and so forth the way I want so that I can maximize the entertainment value here. Number of promotions, 8 is preferred because any more than 8 and then you risk having wrestlers that you would like to have already signed to other promotions, and then you might never be able to get them if they're secure in their loyalty to that other organization. So just 8. Okay, so we can see we've got those 8 promotions on the left. My home territory there highlighted in green. So America is the general area where Canada occurs, so that's perfectly valid. Canada is part of North America after all, so sure. Promotion style. So I think strong it's got to be, because if you know your Canadian national anthem, perhaps the most important lyric in that song is "The True North strong and free." So we'll go strong and plus. Strong is the highest one on the list. Canada's a northern country. Why not pick the northernmost item on the list from a certain perspective? So, okay. So see over here, the top promotion, SWA, which I believe stands for, I don't know, it could be Showman Wrestling Association, maybe. They have $50 million. Compare that to our 200,000 we got here. So it would take a long time to become the #1 organization in all of wrestling, but it's possible. If you play long enough and if you enjoy it enough to just play it for many years, you can gradually overcome that. So I believe we're good. Begin. Start with current settings? Yes, please. Congrats on establishing your new promotion. All right, let's make the magic happen. The world is ours. If you know your Scarface references. Okay. Some yammer yammer. If you're curious about, if you missed that and you're curious what all that text is, you could play the game yourself and just read it to your heart's content. CEO of my Canadian wrestling promotion. Okay. So, the most important menu selection to get us started here is records and help. On the left there again. Promotion stats. So there you'll see that on the right side, popularity, America D. America's our home territory. So D, it's on a school letter grade system. So D naturally is rather poor. A is the other end of the spectrum, but you can actually also get S, which is, I believe, stands for super. So you can gain considerable popularity from where you start at D. And it also mentions our promotion style there is strong. So hopefully that popularity will increase relatively quickly. We'll see. Okay, we'll skip down to this, view title belts. So this is where you can get a glance at the status of your titles. You start with 5 homegrown championships here of different classifications, heavy junior, single tag, etc. And then when you select one, they'll actually show you the championship history. We don't have any champions yet, but that's about to change. Okay, so who are these people exactly that we have in our organization? So as I said, they're all Canadian to start with, all 6 of them. So on the left, we'll examine the individual wrestler profiles. As you can see, at the top here, Michael Elgin, and his nickname is Big Mike. And he does look like a rather large mammal, so that's an appropriate nickname for him. So you start going down from there. This humanoid figurine guy with all the green sections, that designates the injury status of different body parts. So green to start, and as he gets into a few matches, some of those areas will deteriorate, transition from, let's see, yellow to orange to red. Red means, rest this guy, he's about to get injured. And the condition over here on the right, that can deteriorate as well. It can go to normal and then ultimately poor. So those are 2 things to watch out for to see how your wrestler's health is doing and rest him appropriately. Other thing before we get into moves, I guess, is trust. Here, trust basically means how much your wrestler is happy to be part of your organization. So as I said, again, we're on a letter grade system. A is very good. It can get to S, but A basically means he's secure. You shouldn't have to worry about him being romanced away by some other organization or anything like that. So you do have to keep an eye on a wrestler's trust, though, because if it ever gets down to D, then they might just outright just depart your organization and become a free agent. So you need to keep an eye on that. You can improve trust, in theory, by putting him in what the game calls important matches, which I'm guessing means title matches, main events, make him feel important. Okay. Match style strong. Though all 6 of my guys, I believe, start out as strong, I think I saw. But not everyone that we add to the organization will have strong. So that's one thing that can affect trust, is if you put guys in matches that are not suitable to their match style. If the match that you put them in is not their match style, they might be unhappy. So either you cater the match to the individual wrestler, or you can just basically coerce that guy into wrestling your style. And then if he wrestles that style enough, someday he'll adopt it. So those are two ways you can go. I prefer to just try to get everyone on board. You know, we run a strong style up here in Canada, and you're part of this organization, so you got to learn our style. That's what our fans want to see. So that's the way I prefer to do it, rather than have different match styles all over the place. Okay, so let's look at some moves for fun, because we'll start to look at the individual wrestlers more carefully here. Like who are the main characters of this promotion. So Mike Elgin has as a finishing move the Elgin Bomb, so he named his finisher after himself. It's pretty arrogant, but I guess you can do that. I don't know what an Elgin Bomb is. We'll just have to watch. We'll find out together. So he also has a Frog Splash, which I believe is a splash from the top rope, which seems pretty devastating considering how big of a guy this is. So we'll see if he crushes some dudes. Delayed Brainbuster. So I guess this guy doesn't mind making you wait a little bit. He's a bit of a jerk. So see how that goes. Okay. Also a big man, Big Titan, the Free Spirit. He's 6'6", as it says here. So yeah, you can call him big too. His finisher is the Exploder, which is kind of interesting because he's got a non-finishing move called Avalanche Exploder, which sounds even more devastating. So why that's not his finisher, I don't know. He's also got a Bear Hug. Big Bear Hug. Okay, so those two guys I plan to have in my inaugural heavyweight singles championship match. It'll be big versus big for the title, so to speak. And someday they might team up. They could make the big team. But for now, let's move on to the rest of my guys who are going to form the first ever tag team title match. Wolf Hockfield. Okay, there's a bit of a delay here as we get his picture. But if you are my age, when you were a kid, you might have actually seen this guy in an arcade game. There was an arcade fighting game where he was actually in this game. Why his picture's not coming up, I don't know. Things might be locked up. I might have to stop and continue a new recording. There he is. Okay. I may or may not leave that in. I mean, it wasn't dead air. I was at least talking. But there he is. Wolf Hockfield. So he played basically a pro wrestler in an arcade game. If you remember that arcade game, maybe you played it in the arcade, maybe you're my age. If you remember what the name of that arcade game is, leave it in the comments, right in the comments. So, what's his finishing move? Burning Hammer. So he doesn't just want to bludgeon people, he wants to set them on fire too. Nice guy. Also has Tornado Slam. Screwdriver. Okay, sounds like he's got some spin moves. That should be interesting. Tiger Suplex 85. 85, I presume, refers to the year 1985, which, again, if you're my age, you might just say that that might be the best year ever for movies. Right in the middle of the 80s. Fine decade. And Tiger Suplex. The tiger is actually my Chinese zodiacal animal. That's kind of special for me. So I look forward to seeing how that move looks. And another spin move, Giant Swing. That's a crowd pleaser if you ever seen that. Just grab a downed opponent by his legs and swing him around and toss him across the ring. Looks pretty cool. So he's one half of Team Blue. who I plan to team with Kenny Omega. So his moveset's not as fascinating, although he does have this double arm jumping pile driver. Pile driver being a very dangerous move. I think you're really taking a chance with someone's health when you do that. I mean, you're going to break someone's neck, dropping him on their head, but all right, that is a thing. But what is the most important thing about Kenny Omega, the most fun thing about him probably, is there's a voice addition to his wrestling, and for one or more of his moves, he does some sort of calling out where he does "You can't escape," which is pretty cool. Hopefully, when it happens during a match, I won't be talking over it, and we'll hear it together. So that's Team Blue, and they'll be facing Team Terrible. Look at these guys. Okay, Jason the Terrible. Clearly, this guy was modeled after the Friday the 13th Jason villain. He's got the hockey mask, and he doesn't mind using it. You look at his moves here. Finisher's a diving headbutt, also has a jumping headbutt, so he's going to hit people with that hockey mask. And why not wear a hockey mask? It is Canada, after all. That's basically our national sport. Maybe not officially, but ask just about anybody. Jumping pile driver. He's also trying to break someone's neck, I suppose. So, see if anyone gets killed. Hopefully not. And guillotine whip also sounds pretty fatal too, if you know your French Revolution. Guillotine, whatever. So he will be teamed with Terrible Ted, the wrestling bear. Okay. Now, if you're thinking this is a joke, right, or this is a guy in a costume, he may look like he's a guy in a costume, but from my understanding, Terrible Ted was a real-life bear who was tamed and trained to wrestle with a guy. And a human being was wrestling an actual bear. So, might be worth looking up. I don't know if you can find some video footage of it. I think it's kind of old-timey. But yeah, he's not fictional. This was a real thing. And this particular Terrible Ted is 6'11". So weight unknown, if you see there, weight unknown. So then basically, it's hard to guess just how much he weighs because he's a bear, or good luck getting him on a scale and whatever. So his finishing move is the Terrible Bear Hug. Not just any old bear hug, but he is Terrible Ted, so Terrible Bear Hug. And yeah. So we'll get to see a bear wrestle. Looking at some other nicknames, maybe. Okay, so one more thing before we actually set these guys up in matches. Big Titan, if you have no idea who that is. He had a stint, at least, in ECW. Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW. Might run a promotion for that one day, hardcore. But you can see Big Titan on YouTube, I believe. You can find a match with him against Sabu. And I think it might be edited down. It's only a couple minutes, but if you want to get a look at him, you can YouTube it. So yeah, those are the matchups that we have planned for our first card. So what you do now that we know the matchups, is go to event. Book event. There's some other options there I won't be getting into. Standard event, you can eventually run a tournament, but you have to wait around to unlock it, and then by then usually I've just moved on from having tournaments anyway. I'd like to do it early. They don't let you do it early, so bit of a unfortunate thing there. So there's different types of matches you can get into. The only one that's really cool, I think, is the Landmine Death Match, where you can fight in an environment with things like barbed wire, explosives, but that doesn't suit this particular organization, I don't think, so we'll go to normal match. Okay. So, we will start with the tag team. So we're going to go straight into crowning champions here. The Canada Heavyweight Tag Team title will be contested by Team Blue, as I said. Wolf Hockfield. Well, it's Canada Blue. I should specify that. Right now, there's no other blue guys, but I do plan to pick up a couple guys down the road who have blue in them. So they would really be more Team Blue, perhaps. I have another name in mind for them, but something to look forward to. So Team Blue, Wolf Hockfield, and You Can't Escape Kenny Omega. And they will be teaming against, as I said, Team Terrible. So it'll be Jason the Terrible and the Wrestling Bear, Terrible Ted. And we'll close the show, such as it is with just 2 matches, with the Canada Heavyweight Championship singles title. And that will be contested by Big Mike Elgin, who I believe is the only guy on this roster who actually wears red and white. We'll get into why that's important pretty soon. Red and white being the colors of the Canadian flag. So red and white is going to figure into our future in terms of acquiring new guys. Basically, every new wrestler I acquire is going to have red and white in it, in the wrestling outfit that they wear. So that, even if they're not from Canada, they're wearing the colors of the flag, so that will count because there's really hardly any Canadian wrestlers to be had in the core game. So yeah, Big Titan will face Michael Elgin for the first ever Canada Heavyweight Championship. Team, okay. So the last thing to do, I think my picture overlay might be blocking it, but in the lower right side, if it's ever really that interesting, I'll unblock it. But basically, you get to, I guess I should point out, first of all, you see in the top right here, audience forecast capacity, 999. So 999, that's how many fans you're expecting to get into the venue at your current settings. So right now my ticket price is the lowest it can be. It's 10, because you can go anywhere from $10 to $100 ticket price. But for this early going, when you're having trouble just filling any sort of venue, I like to go low ticket price. Just get as many fans in as possible. You choose the venue location, which is, certainly for now, we'll stick in America. You can choose herbal. I just combined urban and rural. Herbal. It's not herbal tea or anything. No, it's urban setting, as in city. Rural, I guess, as in not in the heart of the city. So you get different capacities, and the expenses are different to rent these places and whatnot. But the point is, for now, don't need to go through all the minutiae. To get the smallest venue possible, just so you can come close as you can to pack in the place, is rural gymnasium. The venue size is gymnasium. So it only has now we only have a capacity of 1,600 here. Even at the lowest ticket price, at $10, we're still not even getting 1,000 people. To put that in perspective, I can change it. If I up it to 20, you'll see it goes down, 749. What's fascinating about that is that 7 squared is 49. Not important. I'm obsessed with numbers. So at this moment, we're not worried about how much money we're getting. We just want to get as many butts in seats as possible, as quickly as we can, just to try to get that popularity going. And the more popular you get, the more you can put people in seats. So it self sort of perpetuates. So America, rural setting, gymnasium's the smallest venue, $10 the cheapest price. So we're good. We're going to wrestle with these statistics. 2 titles are about to be filled, and we will experience that together. Confirm match card. It is now locked in. All we have to do is proceed, and we can go to the actual matches. But we're not actually doing that quite yet. There is a couple of pieces of business that I have to do, because once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. No, this isn't Star Wars. Once you actually proceed and go to the matches, you can't go back to these menus where you can do other things. There's 2 other things we have to do before we officially play out the card, the fight card. So human resources here in red. There's 2 options here. Scout and offer contract. Those are the ones that we're concerned with right now. Scout means you can find new wrestlers. There are free agent lists, which we will take a look at by region. But I happen to know, because I've played the game, there's other guys out there that I want to find and include in this roster. So we definitely will be scouting to find. We'll be looking for specific guys, and you'll find out as we go, as they said in the movie The Rookie with Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen. Great movie. So we're gonna have to. We'll be looking. We'll be sending scouts out. We'll get to that, and before we can move on, we also have to try to sign somebody, offer contract. We'll be picking a guy either from the free agent pools or from another promotion. If you don't mind stepping on other promotions' toes, you can try to nab someone else's wrestler. That's a thing. So, because you can add 1 new wrestler per month. So I'll be selecting a guy to add because, of course, we want to grow the roster. We don't just want to run 2 matches forever. So we'll be scouting. We'll be offering a contract, and as the months go by, our selection of wrestlers will increase. We'll put on more matches per card, and there'll be more prosperity. Okay, so I did the scout and offer contract off camera. I figured it would take a while and not be very interesting as I just examined lists and contemplated the big picture. Besides, we're probably getting to about half-hour running time and haven't got to actual wrestling, and you're probably getting anxious for some action, so I'll save the results of scout and offer contract for episode 2. And I'll show what I did and discuss, and it'll be like you missed nothing. So let's get to the matches. Although right after, I do another shout out to Canadian sports. There's the basketball I played in my driveway with as a kid. So I was watching some Canadian Elite Basketball League, the CEBL, again featuring teams from Ottawa and Montreal. Coincidentally, I don't know why those 2 cities, same cities again, it just happens to be what's on TV. Anyway, wrestling go. Finalize management decisions for the month and proceed to the results. Yes. You're about to witness history. The inaugural event of Canada. New promotion. January. First event. So I think actually, having run a couple tests, I had talked about setting the match speed a little higher to compensate for the delay in the recording. I feel like it's hard to commentate the action properly when it's rapidly unfolding. So I think I'll give this a shot at just the standard 100 speed, just to make sure I can call the match properly. And hopefully it still moves at a decent pace. So that's what we'll do. So match 1, the Canada Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. So a bit of a loading time, but it should be happening soon enough. All right, coming down the aisle, it is Team Blue. So the coming down the aisle is a bit slow, but at least you really get a look at them. It is Wolf Hockfield and Kenny Omega.
Bang!
And their opponents, Team Terrible. So I contemplated skipping these ring entrances because it's a bit slow because of the recording, but certainly for the first time you might want to really get a look at them coming down the aisle. The Wrestling Bear precedes Jason the Terrible. Canada's Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. Let's go!
Fight!
Wolf Hockfield, looking for a test of strength perhaps with that handout, settles for a forearm shot to Jason's face. Knee to the gut, stomp to the back. Everything going Wolf's way so far. Backs into his own corner, probably a good plan. Into the turnbuckle. Oh, boy, here we go. Wow, slamming his man in the turnbuckle, and then into the power slam, center of the ring. A bit early for a pin. Jason's doing just fine this early. Misses with the clothesline, though. And now into a vertical suplex. Oh, looks like Wolf is reversing it. And he's out of the ring! Jason the Terrible flopping head first. Looks like Kenny Omega's going around the corner to engage him. So we're going to get some out-of-the-ring fighting already. Ooh, some sort of jawbreaker applied. Although he hurt his knees banging down onto the floor there. Chop. So your actions to the far left. It's not centered, unfortunately, but... Oh! Swan dropping headbutt with the hockey mask. DDT! By Kenny Omega. I don't know how much that would hurt someone who's got basically a helmet on. Kick to the back. Wow, we're getting 16, so 20 would have been a ring out. Which we would have had no champion in our first match. We would have had just a disappointing, basically, yeah. Elbow smash landed, elbow drop landed by Wolf just a second ago to the hockey mask, wouldn't have done much damage. Surprise roll up by a very big bear. Terrible Ted. Again, a bit early. We're only 2.5 minutes in. Why are you trying to pin somebody? So it's Kenny and the Bear. Why Terrible Ted is backing into the blue corner, I don't know. Judo style hip toss applied. So that bear knows some technical wrestling apparently. Practically smothers Kenny Omega with that pin attempt. Kenny figures maybe I should let the big man come in here and take on the bear. Okay. Double team.
Golden Trigger!
Boom! Double knee to the face. Follows up with an elbow drop to the face. Okay. Wolf went for the high kick there, but counter takedown. Shoot, as they might say in MMA circles. So here's the two heavies going at it right now. Wow. Wolf's forearm smash just ate open air. Oh, it's Wolf versus Bear right now, in case you didn't occur to you that two animal types in their names. And they bring it back to the center of the ring. Looks like some sort of ankle pick, ultimately successful. But Wolf kicks him off. Swinging chop misses. Clothesline attempt misses. High kick misses. Chop misses.
5
This
minutes.
is very elusive for a bear. You'd think that a bear wouldn't be that hard to hit. You're rather big after all. Anyway, the double team is back on. Vertical suplex, double suplex. And he's out of the ring again. We'll get some more fighting outside.
2, 3.
Lock up.
4.
Elbow to the back of the skull. Why not?
5,
Clotheslines the dazed, terrible Ted from behind.
7, 8.
Half crab applied. Not going to get a submission.
9, 10.
And Terrible Ted says, this isn't going too well for me. I'm getting back in there. And he's slowly making his way to Jason the Terrible, but he is big, I guess. He's not too quick on his feet. Almost didn't make it. And we have the Terrible team in the ring right now. Oh, wow. Impressive to heft that giant mammal into the vertical suplex. Again, striking the hockey mask. I don't know how much that would hurt. I guess there'd still be some blunt force trauma. Kenny brings in the wolf again. And into the turnbuckle. Boot. Working his man over in the turnbuckle. Chops applied. Chops to the chest. And an eye rake. That might just change up the momentum a little bit. Body slam. And it's Wolf's turn. Team Blue takes a turn falling out of the ring.
1.
Kenny's holding the opponent for his partner. Oh, but no! Wolf didn't get there in time to utilize the... We're out of the ring again. Crazy action. And Wolf just barked at the moon just now. He howled at the moon. Fittingly, a wolf should do that. And I don't know what Terrible Ted's doing way over there while his partner's getting
6,
double teamed. He's just carrying on like a
7,
weirdo. Double suplex applied.
9.
That would hurt quite a bit on the
10,
outside on the floor, I would think.
11.
1, 2,
And
3.
flailing around with that kendo stick is Jason the Terrible. And it looks like we might have a... Ooh, wow. Wonder if that was the Tiger Suplex 85.
2.
2.9, not quite enough. Has reached the 9-minute mark. Tags in Kenny again. Oh, we'll see another vertical suplex, double vertical suplex applied, out of the ring again. Kenny Omega's going to the top rope.
2,
Backflip moonsault down onto the floor. Unfortunately, Wolf Hockfield had
6,
started to engage the opponent and screwed up that move.
8,
But they're working them over
10,
from behind. Double team action.
11,
You can't escape.
12.
There we go. I was alluding to it earlier. You can't escape.
10 minutes gone. 15.
Okay, we're getting dangerously close to a
16,
countout now. 17. Can Jason recover in time?
18.
He's back in at 18. We can still have a title crowned here. Champion crown. We would not have a champion crowned in the event of a countout. That's standard wrestling rules. Generally, in a typical match, you must defeat your opponent by pinfall or submission for a title for a championship to be won. Let's put it that way, championship to be change hands. Well, I don't know how much an eye rake would do against a guy in a hockey mask. Takedown applied by Terrible Ted. Going for a cover deep in his own corner, but Kenny might have had the ropes there. They're there for the break. Rope break. We're back to big man versus big man. But not before a little double team attempted, but Terrible Ted is powerful enough to boot his way out of trouble against two men. This could almost be a handicap match. It might even be fair with a bear after all. 1 against 2. Chop, counter chop, executed by Wolf Hockfield, but then the shoot takedown. Submission applied. Neck crank. I believe that's called, again in mixed martial arts circles. They lock up. Trip, takedown. Again into the crank.
Give up.
As we approach 13 minutes on this match, still a bit early to gain a submission probably. And Wolf just wipes him out with the clothesline. Ted counters with the kick. He's winded. Possible double team situation again here.
Golden Trigger!
Again with the big double knee. Hooks him for a pin over the kendo stick.
2.
Well, Jason the Terrible had come in for the breakup, but the bear got out on his own accord. Once again, we see that trip takedown. Terrible Ted rolls his man up, but clearly in the ropes this time. Break. Eye rake. Oh, full Nelson. German suplex. Was it a German? I know it's a back suplex in that case. I think it might not be German. Anyway, full Nelson back suplex, and if nothing else. Oh, Kenny had a hold of Jason the Terrible, but the wrestling bear speared that into oblivion. That attempt. Trading shots. Kind of refer to it as a test of manhood, where you just basically just openly just agree to trade shots until one guy can't keep doing it. Oh, devastating! I've seen that move. I'm not sure what it's called. I've seen him do that in a real match. That's awesome. If you know the name of that move, that some sort of drop into a pin combination. Leave it in the comments, right? In the comments. What was that move by Kenny Omega? Yeah, I missed the call on that because I don't know what the move is called. So I'm like, oh, that's the cool move. Bleh. Not very professional. All right, back to some regular action. Not sure what Wolf's plan was there, but he got run down by her.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, this is an outright choke attempt. Oh. Ah, okay, well, that was a choke, but apparently it's legal.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And there you have it, a little bit of weird barking celebration by Terrible Ted, and there you go. We have new tag team champions. Well, the first ever tag team champions. 92%, pretty good. Well, that was the guillotine choke. Chokehold shouldn't result in an actual... Traditionally, chokes are considered illegal in wrestling. Although I guess maybe with the rise of mixed martial arts, UFC and stuff like that, chokeholds are legitimate ways of getting victories. So maybe I should get out of the past and climb into the future where there are some chokes that are permissible. Anyway, bottom line, any way you slice it, new tag team, first ever Canadian tag team champions. We are half done already. One match out of 2. Which brings us to the main event of the first ever fight card for the Canadian wrestling promotion. The Canada Heavyweight Championship. Okay, it's Big versus Big, Titan versus Mike. Titan sounds like he has the advantage, doesn't he?
Fight.
Just by name alone. Here we go! Locking up. Sharp elbow to start things off by Mike Elgin. Snap mare. All Mike so far. Test of strength won by the heavier man against the taller man. Although, according to their profiles, Big Titan might weigh more. Anyway, delayed super, was it delayed brain buster.
1.
I was referring to that earlier when we were examining some wrestler profiles. Notice how he held his man up there in the vertical position. Big body slam. That's a large man to be crashing down to the mat.
Yeah.
Big boot from Big Titan.
Yeah.
Hard kick. Punch to the beard. Ample beard of Mike Elgin. I might just... Okay, there we go. Irish whip. Some manner of chopping punch.
Yeah.
Bring his man down. Big body slam again. Yeah, I think in the profiles, Titan is probably heavier, but I think Big Mike looks heavier. Of course, height does add weight, naturally. Anyway, vertical suplex out of the ring. Will we see some out of the ring fighting? Well, looks like Titan might have been game to maybe go after him,
Yeah.
but elbow to the back.
Yeah.
All right, deadlift German suplex, lifting a limp man off the canvas. Reversal on the Irish whip. Clothesline into the corner. Body slam into the corner, and the man is out of the ring. Very polite of Mike Elgin to not pursue his opponent out of the ring. Let him get back in. Back to the drawing board for Titan to figure this out.
Yeah.
And another delayed. It's not really a brain buster though, is it? I think that's what it said in the profile, brain buster. But it really, like, the brain buster is when you drop the guy on the back of their neck. Or I guess in theory on the head.
2.
Hence brain buster. So that really was more of a delayed vertical suplex. So who cares what the profile says? If he's going to do a certain move, I'm going to call it what it is, not what it's written in the profile. I determine what moves are called. No. I don't name the moves, but based on my years of watching wrestling, I think I have a good sense of what moves are called generally, except for maybe some of the newer stuff. A little more old school of a wrestler fan.
1.
Anyway, we're nearly 5 minutes in this match to determine the
5
first
minutes
ever
gone.
Canadian heavyweight champion. Double axe handle to bash his man to the mat.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
2.
Was that Big Mike calling to the crowd for a little bit of support? Gesture to the crowd. Just as long as it's not an obscene gesture, this is a family show.
Give up.
Big Titan bear hug. Bit early to secure a submission, however.
Yeah.
Delayed vertical suplex. Bang.
Yeah.
Ooh, counter spinning back fist. That was like a fairly sophisticated martial arts strike by Big Mike. And now he just, nothing too particularly technical about that. Just grab your man and just hurl him bodily out of the field of play. Tightens back in, and again, content to apply that big bear hug, the big Titan hug. Could call it the Titan hug. There's anything more powerful than a bear. All right. Clothesline, running clothesline by Big Mike. Rather sharp elbow. Ooh, good. Trading shots.
2.
A discus attack there. Stomp to the leg. Well, really a kick to the leg. Ooh, Titan death drop. As opposed to the Scorpion death drop. Made famous by Steen. Well, that was good timing on that strike. Titan was just moving into range as Big Mike executed that.
2.
Ooh. Misses with the clothesline. Huh. Another vertical suplex.
Yeah.
Irish whip. Clothesline is ducked under. Oh! Suplex. Both men need to recover. It's been a hard hitting affair. Speaking of hard hits, there's a double axe handle.
Two.
Both men moving around the ring there. Vertical suplex. The man is out of the ring.
1,
And now we'll see some outdoor fighting.
2,
Outside the ring fighting.
10 minutes gone. 4, 5,
Ooh, suplex. Fold the guy in half, why don't you?
7,
An Irish whip into the apron.
9,
Ew, torture rack applied into a...
11,
Oh my
12,
goodness, what was that?
13, 14.
Some sort of torture rack into a Death Valley driver. Boy, out on the floor, could have killed him.
Two.
Rips him with a clothesline, going for a cover.
1, 2.
2.9. Demonstration of strength. Wow, gorilla press into a power slam right in the corner. Only 2 that time. Titan death drop. But he's a little tired to follow up though. Suplex out of the ring again. Back fist attempts.
Yeah.
Well, this might just be the Elgin bomb that we saw in the profile. Could this be for a title?
3.
Why, yes it is. The debut
Come
of the
on.
Elgin bomb. And now, fittingly, we have a man wearing red and white and some black as your Canadian heavyweight champion. Just a quick note on black. If you watch some Canadian hockey, you may have seen the Canadians wearing black jerseys. So it seems to me that black might officially be, or unofficially, the third color of the nation of Canada after red and white. Well, there you have it. What more fitting way to crown a champion, a red and white, using his own signature move, the Elgin bomb. All right. New Canadian heavyweight champion, first ever. And there you have it. So, end event. Elgin of Canada is the Canada heavyweight champion. Success, in that if you see on the right, average card rating 86. So if you get 80 plus, it's considered to be a success. Now, we don't get it a great success designation because the attendance didn't near capacity. You got to get at or near a sellout, plus an 80 plus average card rating in order to qualify for great success. But we weren't ever expected to have more than just an ordinary success because we lack the ability to fill even the smallest venue, but that's going to change. So, once you finish the event, they give you some news from around the other promotions. Other people winning titles in other organizations. Now that's interesting. Miguel of MWA, we'll have to take a look at that. Oh, it's not the Miguel I'm thinking of. We are thinking of getting a Miguel Hernandez. Actually, he's a free agent, I think, so he shouldn't be, unless he was signed. Hopefully not. So, we lost a substantial amount of money. As you can see, the expense on the top right there, nearly $70,000. Now you might think, where on earth did that money go? Well, we'll get into that in episode 2 when we start the second month. And we'll catch up to what we've missed, what I did off air. We'll get into that. So tune in for episode 2.